Greetings, warm, bright, charismatic Leo. My name is Eliane Nicole. I'm an astrologer and tarot card reader, and now I'm going to do the November 2020 forecast for the sign Leo. I am going to do a tarot reading to start, and then in the second half of the video, I am going to do talk about some of the planetary transits, broad strokes, not all of them. I highly recommend that you follow me on Instagram at astrology.tarot.Eliane Nicole if you want to see more details about planetary transits. I post in my stories daily and in the feed quite often whenever there's significant planetary movement, and cover it in more detail there. But in the meantime and in between time, watch the videos for your sun, moon, and rising here to get an idea of some of the things to expect in November. And as we enter the month of November, Leo, the Four of Wands reverse. So you have an event with a twist right at the beginning of the month. And it is covered by the Emperor. So the Emperor is a male authority figure card. It can be a father, a boss, a landlord, a husband, a leader, a politician. It can be the patriarchy in general. And you are covered by the Six of Cups. So it looks like friends or a close friendship could be a prominent theme for you in the month of November. And the basis of the situation, the Star reverse. So it looks like there is a test of faith for you in November. There may be something that you're worried about. It's a situation where I do believe that it is going to work out for you, Leo, but you know, your faith is being tested, and you have to turn it over to you know, your higher power, God, the universe, the cosmos, whatever, something larger than yourself. And what's leaving is the High Priestess. This could be an older and wiser woman in your life. What could come into being around mid-month, the Three of Cups reverse. So this could be a falling out with a friend. It could also just be like that you're missing a friend, or that there's something going on with one of your friends or a group of friends. And what will come into being around mid-month, we see a man. He looks very certain and decisive. He looks honest and fair and sincere. And fears or insecurities, the Ten of Pentacles reverse. So this has to do with boundaries around family and money and security and wealth. Others see you as the Two of Cups. This is others see you as in love. And if you're not in a relationship, this could be that somebody is in love with you, has a crush on you. And positive feelings, the Nine of Pentacles reverse. So it looks like towards the end of the month, you may be making a big expenditure that you feel very positive about. And the outcome, the Seven of Wands. So at the end of November, it looks like you are holding your own. You are standing your ground and just maintaining your footing in the face of possibly adversity, but maybe it's not adversity, maybe it's just a lot coming at you and you're holding your own. So that's the tarot overview for the sign of Cancer for November. And now I'm going to talk a little bit about the planetary transits. So as we enter the month of November, we've just come off of the full blue moon of Halloween that was actually, well, you know, a blue moon is a very rare kind of occasion. Once in a blue moon is even a saying. And so, you know, we're coming into the month breathing very rarefied air right now. Anything can happen, you know, and maybe anything just did or is about to, you know, as we enter the month. And, you know, that blue moon is conjunct Uranus, and Uranus is the planet of shakeups and surprises. It's the planet that jolts us so that we can, you know, see things in a new way. And for Cancer, that Taurus moon is in your 10th house. Oh, I'm sorry, not Cancer, excuse me. For Leo, that blue moon happened in your 10th house of career and attainment. And so, and then it's also, if you don't have a career, it's also known as the house of reputation, and sometimes it can also be related to the father. So any of those areas could experience a big surprise around Halloween, beginning of November. And we're also in the Day of the Dead as we enter the month of November. And so this is the time of the year where the veil is the thinnest between the two worlds. And this is a time where, you know, ancestors may be trying to communicate with you. They may be coming up in your dreams. They may be coming up in your thoughts. You might be feeling their energy around you in certain ways. It's a great time to get a reading, to communicate with the ancestors. Anyway, so that's all happening as we enter the month of November. It's a very mystical, exciting time in 2020. And November 3rd, Mercury stations direct. So Mercury will have been retrograde for 3 weeks leading up to the election. And on election day, it stations direct, meaning that it is very likely that we do not find out the answer of who president is on that day. It's more likely, I think, that we find out later in the month, around November 20th, when Mercury returns to the degree that it was when it went retrograde in the first place. But for now, as Mercury stations in Libra, you know, there's a feeling of like, leading up to that, reversals of justice, arguments, you know, unfairness, inequality, things like that. And so that is very strong on November 3rd. The energy of that, the fighting, the arguments, the kind of unfairness. November 9th, Ceres enters Pisces. As Ceres enters Pisces, it's entering your 8th house. And this is a time to nurture 8th house issues. So 8th house issues have to do with other people's money. It could be your spouse's money, your partner's money. It could have to do with wills, inheritances, debts, settlements, loans. But this area needs some tender love and care from you, Leo, for the rest of this month. November 10th, Mercury enters Scorpio. So now, you know, when Mercury stationed, it was still, and that was an intense moment. But as it starts to move forward, now we're starting to resolve some of the things that happened during the retrograde period. So as it moved forward in Libra from around, you know, the 5th to the 9th, we're clearing up arguments and disagreements and unfair situations. As it comes into Scorpio for you, Leo rising, it's entering your 4th house. So now you're going to be clearing up any disagreements that were happening around the home, possibly with your mother or parents, possibly if there were any disagreements or communication snafus around land, real estate, wealth, the ancestors, legacy, that kind of stuff will be starting to be cleared up around this time. And through, but it won't, it's still in the clear up period. We're not all the way in the clear with the Mercury retrograde issues until November 20th. So if you experience some lag time, don't worry, it's working itself out. November 12th, Jupiter is forming a conjunction with Pluto for the 3rd and final time this year. Each time it has been associated with the surges in the virus. It's also, these timings have been associated with expansion of power and wealth as well. So the first one was April 4th, the second one was June 30th, and now the 3rd and final exact alignment of this Jupiter-Pluto conjunction is happening on November 12th. And this is, again, expansion of death and destruction, expansion of power and wealth. November 13th, Mars goes direct in Aries. And by the way, that Jupiter-Pluto conjunction for Leo rising is happening in the house of health and fitness. It's also the house of staff and employees. And it's also the house of service to others, service in the world. And it can be the house of small pets as well. It's the house that rules like military and police as well, where that's applicable. And it's your daily routine as well. So there's a lot that sixth house covers, and it will manifest for different Leos differently depending on your chart. And with the sixth house, I don't know, it's a good time if you're a Leo rising to get a reading, I think. And Mars goes direct November 13th. So Mars is in your ninth house. So this could be a time of really fighting with people about beliefs. It could be over religion, over spirituality, belief systems. It could be something to do with school or higher education that's comes to a boiling point at this time for you. For people who are dealing with like publishing or broadcasting, it could have something to do with that that's coming to kind of a heated boiling point at this time. But as it comes to a boiling point, this Mars retrograde stationing direct that is, getting ready to have its third interaction with Jupiter-Pluto conjunction and Pallas and Saturn and all of the Capricorn cluster, just know that it gets worse right before it gets better. But then we are on the way to, that area of your life. You've been dealing with this story. The Capricorn story you've been dealing with since spring. The Mars story that's come into interplay with it, you've been dealing with since August, September. So now this is the crescendo in the middle of November. And then slowly but surely, things are going to start working themselves out to kind of wrap up 2020. And, Mars actually, the Mars part of this is going to be going into the first week of January before that is completely resolved. And that's, like I said, what it is. But anyway, I'm going to keep going. New moon of Scorpio is November 14th, and that new moon of Scorpio for you is in the fourth house of home. So new moons are incredibly rich and fertile soil to plant the seeds of intention that you want to manifest in your life. I recommend that you do a new moon ritual and set intentions around these fourth house themes of elimination. What do you need to eliminate from your life? But also reinventing if you want to reinvent yourself, or regenerating, rebirth, starting new. New moons are good for new starts. Anything with money, anything that requires your focus is Scorpio themes. Things around death, it's a good time to communicate with the ancestors, people who you love who have passed, and sending prayers and love and intentions for them. It's also, what else is Scorpio? Scorpio is all that stuff. Taxes, if you need to set any intentions around that. But just into sex, it's a great time to set intentions around sex. It's a beautiful, deep, dark new moon, and a very magical, psychic new moon. Good time for readings too. On November 20th, Mercury is out of shadow. So this is when all the Mercury retrograde stuff should finally, once and for all, be cleared up, which is great news. And then November 21st. So this November 20th to 21st, this is a real turning point in the year. We are finally out of the woods of the toughest astrology of the year. Sagittarius season is going to be wonderful for Leo. It's going to be much more lighthearted and optimistic and exuberant and hopeful and energetic, and that starts November 21st. Venus also enters Scorpio, so this can be a very sexy time, a very seductive time. Venus and Scorpio for you, again, is in this fourth house of home, which there's a lot of focus around that house of home for you in the month of November. And what else? November, let's see. The Sun enters Sagittarius. We talked about that. Oh, yes, Neptune goes direct on November 28th. And Neptune is really, you know, Neptune has such a subtle energy. It's so slow moving. But Neptune, we were in the shadow March 3rd of Neptune's retrograde, and it went retrograde sometime in the spring, I guess, or summer. I don't remember the exact date right now. But my point is, it goes direct on the 28th. And we are out of the shadow March 21st. That is the time I associate with us being out from under the COVID cloud. Whatever that means, it hasn't come into complete focus to me of whether that's a vaccine or a treatment or what, but that is, and has been, if you've been watching my videos all year, I've been saying March 21st, 2021 is when we're out from under the COVID cloud, when we will be returning to whatever the new normal is, because it will never be back to what it was before the pandemic. But we will be getting into what our new normal is, and it will be a much different experience than what 2020 has been like for us. And then November 30th is the full moon. Oh, and the Neptune direct for you, by the way, is in the 8th house. So this could be creating around that time, you know, I don't know, fogginess in those 8th house issues. So that could be around sex, but it could also be around death, rebirth, regeneration. It could also be fogginess around affairs with other people's money, meaning your spouse's money or your partner's money or your parents' money or inheritances, wills, settlements, loans, debts, alimony, anything like that. And then finally, November 28th or November 30th is the full moon and prenumbral lunar eclipse. And that for you is happening in Gemini in your 11th house of friends and business associates. So full moons bring illumination. They also bring culmination. So, you know, things will come to light in this area possibly. Things will come to a culminating point in this area for you possibly. And, you know, eclipses can bring up the shadow in others or ourselves. And so look out for that at the very end of the month. But it does look like you will be holding your own, Leo, no matter what you are up against, as usual. So thank you for joining me, Leo. If you liked the video, give me a thumbs up. If you didn't like it, give me a thumbs down, but I hope you liked it. Please subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. Please share this video with other Leos that you know, and definitely follow me on Instagram at astrology.tarot.Eliane Nicole. There I do much more regular postings about the transits because there's so many interesting transits going on in November that I didn't get into here because I don't want this video to be an hour long. But and definitely reach out to me for a reading. It's such a great time to be working with an astrologer. It is such an empowering, therapeutic, enlightening, soothing experience. So I highly encourage you to reach out to me. My contact information is there. You can email me to schedule an appointment. I love doing it. I can read for people anywhere in the world on Zoom. I send you a recording after the reading and pictures of your cards and your chart. So it's, yeah, I look forward to hearing from you, and have a wonderful, wonderful November.